guys, Peter here, and I saw Halloween 2018, and yeah, I was not expecting to see a slasher movie, particularly a Halloween movie this year, but oh well, it happened. Quick little recap of me in the Halloween series. I love the Halloween series, faults and all. In preparation for this one, I rewatched the first one, and the first one is so fucking good. And one thing I greatly respected about the first one is that the teens, yeah, they're ditzy teens, but when it comes to getting killed by Michael Myers, they're not really being stupid or anything like that. They're just living their lives, and then some shit happens. They're not going to the sign that says this will kill you like in later ones. So I really like the first one. Halloween 2 I also enjoy. It's not as good, but I still like it. Halloween 3 gets a bad rap, but in recent years has gotten kind of a better reception, and I think it's pretty good still. I love the whole concept of the mass killing kids. Something about killing kids just makes my heart beat a little bit better. Halloween 4, good ideas, but bad execution. That his mask in it is awful. And I like what they set up with Jamie at the end, but then it goes nowhere, and then it continues to go nowhere in Halloween 5, which sucks, and Halloween 6, which either cut of that movie is unwatchable. And this Halloween is the second time they've tried rebooting it, because after Halloween 6 was Halloween H20 or H2O, no one can ever decide on the fucking title for that. And that one was okay. Except for the climax, which is legitimately very entertaining, and then they fucking ruin it with Halloween Resurrection, which is awful. And then there was those Rob Zombie remakes, which were, I mean, you can appreciate a different take, but especially that second one, good God. So we've been burned out on Halloween for years, and finally getting a new one that is done by Blumhouse, which, the more I thought about it, I was like, this is a pretty appropriate production studio to be making this movie, because they make movies for a nickel. So for them to do a Halloween movie kind of made sense, because after a certain point, they kind of did become exploitation horror almost, and Blumhouse is kind of perfect for that. So when you hear that, I'm just like, okay, let's see what they do. And it's a pretty good movie. As far as Halloween movies go, it's probably, legitimately speaking, the second best. Now, you want to debate entertainment value, that's up to you. Legitimate quality, it's probably the second best by the original. And that's impressive, because when was the last time you had a legitimately good slasher movie? Now, if you take out the fact that it is Michael Myers, it is Halloween, it's still a pretty competent slasher movie. But to have that history of how this franchise has been bastardized all these years, to see a movie like this come along is actually, it's familiar but refreshing. It's familiar in the sense that this movie, in a lot of ways, doesn't really do anything new, which could be something to complain about. But at the same time, it's refreshing, because you're like, oh, good, Michael Myers is, he's a killer again. He doesn't give a fuck. He's not part of a stupid Thorn cult. He's ruthless. He's evil. And at first, I was a little because I don't mind them wiping out all the other sequels, which is go for it. But Halloween 2, at first, I was like, you could keep Halloween 2. But the more I thought about it, I'm like, well, the angle they're trying to go with this is different. Because in this movie, Michael Myers is just pure evil, like Loomis said in the first one. He is just a ruthless killer. And in Halloween 2, they introduced that element of Laurie being his sister, and he's trying to eliminate the family, which you could you could not like. I mean, it's interesting for that movie, but at the same time, it gives him a motive. And what kind of makes Michael Myers more frightening is that he doesn't have a motive. He just does this because he's fucking evil. So when you come at it at that angle, it's pretty good. So, and I don't mind it. But let me get into the plot real quick, just very briefly. I'm not really going to spoil anything because this is not really a movie that needs to be spoiled. But so it's 40 years after what happened in 1978. Michael Myers has been locked up. Apparently, he didn't disappear in that long shot. He just kind of rolled over and groaned and then got cuffed. He's been incarcerated ever since. And there's these two, you can tell they're Australian. I think they're Australian or British, whatever. Reporters or podcasters are trying to do a documentary on Michael Myers. And they go to him in the institution. And the way the institution is felt very kind of, it almost felt like an homage to Rob Zombie because of the way it's shot. It felt very much like that Halloween universe, but that's the only part that really felt like that. So it's a nice little touch, and they're just trying to pay tribute, which they do a lot in this movie, to the history of Halloween. And you never see Michael Myers' face still, but you see, surprisingly, like, you never see like a full clear shot of his face, but you do like see like the sides of his face. I'm pretty sure it's the original actor who played Michael Myers too. I think his name is Frank Castle or Vince Castle. I'm pretty sure it's Frank Castle, but he's reprised his role as Michael, and it is a little jarring because you so associate Michael Myers with the mask, you almost forget that, oh yeah, he's old now. He's like he's like in his 60s at this point, or if he's not 60 already. So that's a nice little touch to have him, but it's also like kind of like, oh yeah, it's like that Batman line, he's human after all. And they're trying to just get Michael to talk. They brought his mask to like try to get emotion out of him, invoke a response, and reminding him of Laurie Strode. And it's a little weird because why would these people be allowed to have that mask? Because it is evidence. And I gotta start with, this is definitely a turn your brain off movie because there is some dumb shit that happens. There's a lot of dumb shit that happens. Characters make dumb decisions, and there's some leaps in logic you have to get through. But with the history this series has, and just how iconic it is, people could probably turn their brain off. I mean, it's a slasher movie. People will generally turn their brain off for a slasher movie, and I think, you're not going to get like Norman Bates. You're not going to get a complex, sympathetic character with this. You're just going to get kills. And if you're looking for that, then you're just going to shut your brain off and enjoy. So I don't think it'll distract people. It's kind of one of those movies that people go, no, don't do that, you stupid fuck, like at the screen. And that was my wife. So there's that. You got to kind of deal with characters being annoying and doing stupid things. But then it cuts to them trying to talk to Laurie Strode, who's suffering PTSD like a motherfucker, like way worse than in H2O, where she lives in like almost a fucking fortress, and they basically try to pay her to be on the podcast and talk about Michael Myers, but she really doesn't. She just kind of takes their monies and tells them to get out and that he's just an evil fuck. And there's some really clunky exposition, which is kind of a double-edged sword because it does need to establish where we are right now, because we are retconning so many sequels and we're undoing things that have already been undone. So it kind of makes sense that they have to explain, like, ground us. Like, they have to ground us at where are we? What's happened? What hasn't happened? What's canon? What's not canon? But I think they could have done it a little better. And on top of the exposition, like, the dialogue is pretty bad. Mostly with the teen characters who... that's kind of a problem in the first Halloween, but this one, it almost really feels like, this was written by, this is probably written by a 50-year-old man who hasn't paid attention to his teenage daughter in years. And we see Laurie's daughter and her granddaughter, and the daughter's played by Judy Greer, and for a while, for the majority of the movie up until the end, I don't like her because she's just giving her mom shit, which is understandable in the sense that you've been dealing with this Michael Myers boogeyman shit for like 40 years, but at the same time, it feels so condescending. So I don't know how she grew on me towards the end. It was the opposite with the granddaughter. The granddaughter I liked in the beginning, but the more and more the movie progressed, I was like, why are you here? Because she's nothing more than a target for Michael Myers at one point. That's it. She doesn't really do anything past that. she's just bait, essentially. And it kind of wastes her because I was enjoying her character in the beginning. She seemed like the only person willing to listen to what Laurie Strode has to deal with and what she's going through. And Laurie Strode is doing, Jamie Lee Curtis is doing a fucking fantastic job playing like a hard ass who's also like mentally unstable, just broken, just feels haunted by that night all those years ago, just can't forget it, even though to someone like Michael Myers, which I like this angle where because he's not family in this one, she was just any other target. So there's no special connection, but she like feels like there is. So it's kind of like this sick, disturbing angle that I really like. And Michael breaks out of the asylum. He gets his mask back. You know, this is nothing. I mean, did you really think he was going to be in the asylum the whole time? But this is nothing you wouldn't expect. He gets the mask back. He goes wild. And one thing, there's this great sequence of events. This one long panning shot of Michael going into houses and just killing people. And it's great on a technical level because it is one shot, and it shows him like he gets a hammer and kills this old lady so he could take her knife, and then he goes into a house and then kills this babysitter, I guess. It's all done in one shot, but I love this little touch that the reflection of the old Myers house is in that window. So you just for a second you can see the old Myers house. It's such a fucking nice little touch. I don't think anybody else in that theater picked up on it other than me. So that was nice, but the only issue I have with it is that it felt kind of quick for Michael, because in the first movie the body count is not as high as you think, because taking out his sister, obviously, he kills like 3 people. Like 3 people about. He kills 4. He kills that one. He kills the guy to get his suit, which is very like one of the kills that's glossed over, and then 3 of Laurie's friends. But he stalks them. He stalks them before he kills them. In this, it's really quick. Like, he grabs that hammer and almost like clockwork turns around and just beats the old lady to death and walks out with a knife like he just fucking did his plumbing or some shit, and then just walks in someone's back door, slits her throat, and walks out. It's really fast, and I don't know if I loved it. I can't say I hate it. It's just a little odd, but I guess you just want to establish Michael's just there's no reason Michael's doing what he does. He just kills people because he's fucking evil. So that's fine. Michael's caretaker in this, they allude to him being the new Loomis, because I mean, obviously you can't have Donald Pleasence back. They're not gonna Grand Moff Tarkin in Rogue One this shit. Not with Blumhouse, not with that budget. No, baby. If Blumhouse did it, it'd be a still shot of Donald Pleasence with the mouth that just they can pull it down with a popsicle stick and make it move. But no, they have this, and they call him the new Loomis. He's Michael's caretaker, but he's different than Loomis. Whereas Loomis was like, he just wanted Michael put away. He wanted Michael to stay in jail, never get out. This guy just like the podcasters, wants to understand Michael's. He has this fascination with Michael's psychology, which is a new angle to take with it, because so many of these movies is just, yeah, he's just pure evil, but like it's kind of counter though, because he's like, I want to understand the mind of this killer. But like with Michael in this, there's nothing to get. He is just a fucking monster who just moves forward and kills things. So it's interesting. It makes for a great conversation. And I don't think I'm gonna go too much more past that in terms of, there's a twist they take with the doctor, which is interesting at first, but they drop it really quick, and it really is just kind of used as both figuratively and literally a vehicle to get Michael to the final showdown with Laurie Strode. And the climax of this movie is fucking great. It is so fucking good. It is shot dark. It is this great, just constant look through Laurie's house and seeing how she's prepared for this night for years. And at one point, they do a nice little touch where Laurie falls, and then Michael sees her laying on the ground, then he turns away and notices someone else, and he looks back and Laurie's gone, and then it's sort of this role reversal where now Michael's the prey and Laurie's the hunter. It's so fucking good, but it doesn't embrace its full potential. Like, H2O went a little overboard, where it turned into almost a Tom and Jerry cartoon of, hey, how much can we just slap the shit out of Michael? But like, Here it's like, I could have used a little bit more. And the climax is where the daughter really flourishes and the granddaughter really doesn't. Like, so much as I really kind of wish that the granddaughter was just not included in the movie, because I think a more interesting dynamic would have been Laurie and her relationship with her daughter, how her obsession with Michael and how her constantly being worried about this night plays into the stress that she put on her daughter, because her daughter is skilled with firearms. So that would have been just more interesting. Just cut the granddaughter out, or even just like reduce her role, because when they set her up, they set her up really like she's gonna be like almost the new Laurie Strode, and it really goes nowhere by the end of it. But the climax is satisfying, but you don't get that Michael death that you want, because they're kind of leaving it open for a sequel, and I don't want one, because this is an excellent way to go out after years of just mediocrity and then trying again and getting really fucking bizarre. I'm okay if it ends here and just stays as a solid two-parter. Like, you could, if you want, because it kind of gives you like two endings that you can enjoy, I think. Two that are satisfactory, at least. Or actually, no, three. You could either go Halloween and then Halloween 2. You can go Halloween, Halloween 2, Halloween H2O, or Halloween and Halloween, this one, which, could they come up with a better fucking title than just Halloween 2018, really? But overall, I did enjoy the movie quite a bit. I didn't love it, but it was just refreshing to see, not only to see the Halloween series done justice for the first time in God knows how many years, but just to see a slasher movie that I was invested in. I could have liked the characters more, but the character that you're watching this for is Laurie Strode, and she's fucking great. Jamie Lee Curtis did a fantastic job. And let Fox News bitch about the fact that she uses guns. Oh, how dare you use that in your pretend movie. Sorry, that news story broke out, and God, fuck you, Fox. Fuck off. God. But, anyway. So, overall, I would say the final score for Halloween 2018 is a 7 out of 10. It's nothing innovative, nothing spectacular, but if you're looking for just a solid conclusion to a series and just a genuinely good slasher movie, then I would definitely recommend this movie. It's not perfect, but for what has happened in this series in the past, it could have been so much worse, and I enjoyed it quite a bit, so just let it die. We don't need any more. So, take it for what it's worth. Go see it. You probably already have. This video's kind of late. I had to deal with a bunch of shit. But I hope you guys check it out, enjoy it, whatever. So, that's it for me, guys. I'll see you next time.